This panel session that we are going to do right now is all about presenting policy and regulatory pathways for accessible, accurate, and affordable testing. So ladies and gentlemen, now please welcome the moderator of the session, Dr. Muthu Dhandapani. जोरदार तालियों से स्वागत करेंगे Dr. Muthu Dhandapani, the Vice President, Quality and Regulatory Compliance, Tricog Health India Private Limited. Now we are welcoming all our panelists. Mr. Jatin Mahajan, Managing Director, Mitra and Company Private Limited. Next panelist, Dr. Arjun Dang, Managing Director, Dang Labs. Thank you. And our next panelist, Dr. Ravi Gaur, Founder and Director, DRJ Path Labs. Mohammad Ameel, Technical Officer, WHO SEARO. Mr. Chirag Joshi, CEO of Beacon Diagnostics. And last member of this panel session, Dr. Shelly Mahajan, Lab Director, Mahajan Imaging and Labs. Over to you, our moderator, sir.
Good evening, everyone. If you look at the diagnostic industry, predominantly there is a manufacturing segment and the other one is a testing. And the topic of today's team is diagnosis as the first line of defense, policy and regulatory pathways for accessible, accurate and affordable testing. And so without much of delay, I would like to go to my panelists. And so I'll start with the first theme, that is policy framework for strengthening. I would like to ask the panel to think through this, how India policy ecosystem, we have a PMJ system, we have a Ayushman Bharat digital mission, we have a national health digital mission, and how are we going to integrate the diagnostic into achieving universal health coverage? So, and what are missing today? So I would like to start with Dr. Ameel for the global benchmark. So from the WHO standpoint, how do you see what global benchmark can India adapt or lead to improved diagnostic equity across Southeast Asia or South Asia?
Thank you so much for your question. What we propose and what we suggest is that countries should have a national essential diagnostics list, and that guides all of us that what are the tests that should be available at a primary level, at a secondary level or a tertiary level, and that brings equity across. But that's just a starting point for provisioning of diagnostics, because unless and until this list is translated into action on ground on the field, this list is just a theoretical piece of paper. And for this, we need to support governments in provisioning strategies of these diagnostic services. And if I take example from India, for example, the government of Telangana has a very robust and efficient model of hub and spoke model of diagnostic, where one integrated public health lab is able to cater to a whole greater Hyderabad region. And it's very cost effective, efficient, quality can be monitored because you have all the diagnosticians at the hub lab. And we picked up few countries like Nepal, Timor-Leste, Thailand, and we are trying to see where the gaps in the policies are and how we could fill up those gaps. Thank you.
Sure. So, yeah, maybe now I'll go to Mr. Mahajan ji. How can policies incentivize domestic manufacturing of diagnostic to reduce import dependence?
Can you repeat the question again?
Yeah. So how can policies incentivize domestic manufacturing of diagnostic to reduce the import dependence?
Okay. So I think everybody is aware here, the market is around 3.2 billion as far as the Indian market is concerned. And out of this 3.2 billion, 70% of the products are still imported into the country. And where we need to work upon, especially in the mid till higher segment of the technology, where they are dominated by the MNC companies. So in terms of the policy stack, what I would suggest are three things, which is financial incentives, then infrastructure support, and regulatory streamlining. Now, firstly, in terms of the financial incentives, if you recollect what happened in COVID was that the supply chain got disrupted. Now, if we need to have a policy stack, and since we are very, as a country, we look after the defense of the country, which is national security. Here also the health has to be given that due importance and priority, and the health also should be of a national level, the national security of its people also in terms of the health. So when I look at what I had mentioned a few minutes back, that the supply chain, so we need to build up the critical aspect of the supply chain, which is the components, the raw materials. So whether it's an antigen, antibody, or the entire chain of the antigen and antibody, that needs to be built up within the country. And in order to strengthen that, some kind of incentivization needs to be given in through a policy, for example, a PLI scheme to incentivize the component and to encourage component production within the country. That is one thing. Then creation of, creation and availability of the clinical samples, because in diagnostics, if we have to build up on the quality of a product, then these clinical samples need to be available, and it should be of all disease kinds and types, whether it's HIV, QC, quality cost control, quality cost based system as they do in WHO and Gavi. So these are some of the few inputs that I would like to talk about, in terms of the policy stack, which will actually enable to build up the capacity and capability of the domestic IVD manufacturer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mahajan ji, for sharing this insight, and also Dr. Ameel sharing on the global benchmarking. So we will move to the next theme, which is the regulatory pathways. So are we balancing the speed and the safety? So with that, I will go to Dr. Ravi Gaur. As a lab leader, sir, what are your thoughts on the regulatory improvements you would recommend to strengthen the quality assurance across India's diagnostic ecosystem, especially for the unaccredited labs?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. And I think, end of the day, I think it's a wonderful topic here. Let me just talk about, when you're talking about, before I come back to the question you asked, over my 40 years of diagnostic industry journey, and we have seen there is always something called a policy makers, there are regulators, and there are providers. I think these are the three important components. But it's not that we have not moved forward, we have moved forward, but not together. That's the biggest problem, number one. We had good intent, all of them, but there was lack of synergy. Now what has happened because of that is, there is a fragmentation. There are gaps, there are insufficiencies, there are deficiencies. And probably, this has cost everything, not only the money, time, but even life. And that's where I think we had in the previous session, somebody asking this question, will I see in 30 years in my life, this is what getting uniform. I think that's a very important topic especially from diagnostic service provider I'm talking about. Lot is evolved, but I'm a hopeful person. And we believe that we are all together, we can make a voice and we can work out. And that's where I think this policy MahaTsav, Medgate is organized. I think great work done, great opportunity. That's great work. I think we'll take it forward. Policy as per the purpose, as per the need, and for the local value. That's what my solution.
Thank you, sir. It's really a valid point. So in fact, before COVID, if you look at the accredited labs, there were less than 3,000. Great. Thank you, sir. Moving to the affordability and last mile access. Mr. Chirag, so what policy intervention could expand across rural India? And also, what are the real world policy and pricing challenges for small and medium diagnostic firms face? And how can the government support something on the sustainable scaling?
As a diagnostic manufacturer, there are two different markets where there is a tier 1, which is very advanced. Then we go to tier 2 and tier 3. For tier 2 and tier 3, there are the three major challenges what we found. The first challenge is awareness. Second is access to laboratories in tier 2 and tier 3. And third is upgradation of that laboratories. Okay, so I found that these three major challenges can be, as a suggestion, a government initiate should be for the awareness first. There was a very successful campaign from Government of India like Polio Mukt Bharat. So there should be awareness of importance of diagnostic testing in life. This tier will be having the same infrastructure for tier 2 and tier 3 in the case like Mumbai and Delhi. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for that thought. And now I'll go to Dr. Shelly Mahajan. Dr. Shelly Mahajan, you are the pioneer in one of the imaging diagnostic segment. So I would like to ask you, what are the unique regulatory challenges or how policy can adapt when it comes to the artificial intelligence or machine learning based diagnostic and technologies? And also if you can throw some insight on the integrated diagnostic, because you work on genomics, you work on pathology, so nowadays all integrated. So we would like to understand also from you, what are the policy changes needed to be validated and govern such multimodality service? It's a kind of complex scenario, so please.
Yeah, so when it comes to diagnostics, definitely AI-based tools. Diagnostics is I think at the frontier of using AI-based tools. But then the challenges also appear because of the complexities of the work, data dependencies, and the rapid evolution of AI tools. So keeping that in mind, I think there's a lot of policy-based changes which are required to use AI seamlessly in diagnostic space. Firstly, we need a more adaptive, regulatory framework in the diagnostic field easily. Thank you.
Yeah, that's really well said, ma'am. So, thank you. So, with that, I will now go to Dr. Arjun Dung, Managing Director of Dung Labs. Dr. Arjun, you are the second generation leader pushing the digital transformation into diagnostics. So, we would like to understand from you, on the same note on the AI digital pathology, how the home testing can reshape the diagnostic today. And if there are any regulatory guardrails, how that would help scale innovation without compromising the...
Thank you for that question, Dr. Muthu. And I think today diagnostics is moving towards decentralization, digitization, and eventually democratization as well, so that the last mile that you were speaking about is actually achieved. Now, of course, we were just discussing also that that's why validation is important. Otherwise, you'll get these false positives, and these are very sensitive areas. And obviously, the other points were already covered by you. But I think broadly, the regulators should keep this in mind.
Thank you so much. But also setting global benchmark for the diagnostic industry accessibility and the regulatory framework. Thank you.